Well, the kerosene is lit. We have decided to do, and I can't stress how kind of rare this is, just an emergency pod tonight, because the big news in college basketball tonight, my Northwestern Wildcats fall to Chicago State.
Is that what we were leading with? I thought we were leading with the big news in the state of Nebraska that Kyle McCord will not be a Cornhusker.
Right, the biggest news of the day
Yeah.
in Nebraska. No, we're here because it happened again.
Yep.
We not only lost to another Mountain West team, we got pounded by another Mountain West team. We looked worse than another Mountain West team.
Yeah.
Complete inability to shoot the three against another Mountain West team. A complete inability to change our play style against another Mountain West team. And, I was not as forgiving as some people in our fan base after the Colorado State loss, but still probably more forgiving than most.
I was pretty forgiving, I would say.
Yeah, there's no forgiveness
Nope.
after this game.
Nope.
Just none. So, for those of you who might be new here, because I imagine this one will attract some new viewers for us, I am Dr. Chim Richards, joined as always by Mr. Dennis Thamanas. Give me your one word to describe this game tonight.
Kaluma. A team of Arthur Kaluma. And I know, so yeah, my shtick is taking people's names away. I took Trey's name away. He's the first person to lose his name. I then also took his number away. I was gonna call him the junior from Oklahoma. However, that's too wordy. I'm calling him Kaluma. He's this year's Kaluma.
You're making a point there, except the only problem is his usage rate is actually higher.
Yeah.
So because here's we'll just lead off with this right now. Him and Ashworth were unplayable tonight.
Yep.
But the problem is, when Ashworth is unplayable, he's a disappearing act.
Yeah.
When Trey is unplayable, he is actively harming the team.
Yeah.
And it could not have been more obvious tonight that nothing he was doing was working. He was making other players on the floor worse because he was putting them in bad situations.
Yep. I mean, I think because I graded Shireman a B, and a couple of people said that was too harsh. I think a few of his how many turnovers did he have? He had 2 turnovers.
They said it was too high, right?
Yes, too good of a grade.
Yeah.
I know one of those turnovers was directly Trey's fault in transition. You had a 5-on-4 for no reason. You stood with the ball for a full second.
Yeah.
Took us out. Could have easily got an open 3 that I think would have cut it to 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And just for no reason, ball stuck. Tried to make a move that wasn't there. Kicked a Shireman, led to a turnover.
Yeah. We have gone really quickly from a team that is dominant in transition to a team that has no transition this year. Honest to God, in your head right now, try to think of a transition moment that wasn't in the first 10 minutes of the second half of the Iowa game. We don't have them like we have in previous years. And I don't know if that's a lack of willingness to put, we just don't think we have the roster construction to do it.
Yeah.
Does not having a point guard who gets up the floor really quickly really take that much of it away? It also, you have to get misses, you have to get rebounds.
Yep.
We ended the night tonight even on rebounds, which doesn't sound right, does it?
No.
But let's just take it from the top here. When this game was announced on the schedule, every single person in our fan base thought the exact same thing.
Yep.
So, my question is, why the fuck was this game scheduled? And what is the reason for it? Is it arrogance? Is it just thinking we're too good for this fucking trap game bullshit? This is the biggest trap game in the history of trap games.
Yeah.
You're playing on a Wednesday night late tip-off in Las Vegas against an inferior opponent at a weird venue.
Yeah.
You don't do that unless you have to. We're not the kind of team that has to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. I guess the only possible thing I can think of is trying to give yourself a trial run for the Tuesday night tips at Seton Hall in between games. Maybe you think this prepares
Oklahoma
you for
State was
conference
great for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
it's bad scheduling.
Like, there were people in our fan base who, don't get me wrong, I don't actually think there's a wrong opinion on this topic of how you schedule. Because, yes, like, the people who say just fucking beat everyone in front of you, yeah, you're right. But you can do yourself favors.
Yeah, well,
I would have rather played fucking Gonzaga tonight than this game. You know, like, if we were going to make a trip out west, play somebody worth playing.
Yeah. And let's be abundantly clear, for as much as we're shitting on the schedule, it's on the players and the coaches for not showing up.
Yeah.
Like, it's predictable that they did this, but you can almost make the argument it should have been such a predictable trap game.
Right.
It shouldn't have been a trap game.
Does Dan Hurley ever lose this game? He would have murdered a player at halftime if this was happening.
They did lose to St. John's last year on the road.
It's not the same thing.
No, it's not.
Like, that's what for as much as, like, okay, and let's also get this off the table right now. If you're saying McDermott out after this game, like, just stop yourself. That is the overreaction too far.
High points look pretty good.
Okay. Like, it's one thing to say, like, oh, we can replace him maybe, but it's just stop. We are still not recruiting at the level where we are a top 10 team every year, and yet that's kind of what we're getting still. So no, that's the take too far. I have no problem with people who are, like, overreacting and saying, oh, no, our ceiling is different. Oh, no, our floor is different this year. You can go ahead and say that tonight. Stop just short of fire the coach that is coming off an Elite Eight and has a top 20 recruiting class next year.
Tucker DeVries. I can transfer whenever.
Stop just short of that take. From the jump, I mean, this was a disaster waiting to happen.
I think we were up 8-4.
I mean, like, from the inception of the game.
Yeah, you get what you deserve.
Yeah, no, and we absolutely deserve this one. Again, like, I'll talk about something that I'm just not going to be too hard on that. Every rim roll went their way. I don't know if they bounced one off the rim that actually came out to be a rebound.
Yeah.
You know, like, if it touched the rim twice, it went in.
Yeah.
And they shot 46% from three on mostly looks that we would be okay with them having, except at the end of the game where you kind of have to scramble and give up some looks. So, like, to say it was not a worse performance than the Colorado State game, even though it was against a much worse team. You know, like, if they play to their averages, you lose that game by 4 or 5, probably.
It's a really bad performance.
They're both really bad performances. You know, we're splitting hairs between
like
an F and an F minus.
So again, I'll excuse the Colorado State a little bit because I do think Colorado State's a top 20 team. Again, if you'd lost that game by 5, I wouldn't really care.
Right.
Like, the only issue I have with that game is the margin of victory. UNLV fucking sucks. Like, this game alone rose them 30 spots in KenPom, which is 31 spots, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
They were coming off losing another game, which it says semi-home. Was that in the same venue to Loyola Marymount?
Oh, that's a great question. It probably was.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because LMU was in the Jack Jones Classic.
Okay, yeah. So they were coming off a loss in this very same venue to Loyola Marymount. They lost by 14 at home to Southern earlier in the year. Like, this is a bad team.
Yeah.
And we discussed this earlier when it's a trap game. Like, it's still a bad team. We'd beat bad teams. In hindsight, yeah, trap game overrules bad teams. But, like, this is a bad, inexcusable loss.
And like, they didn't look horrible, right? Like, you can say, all right, at least they have a good team in there somewhere.
Yeah, they were preseason 76, so, like,
right.
There's some, like, they probably end the year fringe top 100 team.
Yes, I think that's fair. Yeah, depending on how they play in the Mountain West, they could easily be like a 80 KenPom 80 team. So it might not end up looking like as bad of a loss as it truly is, though. I'm not trying to say, like, as it looks right now. No, it's a bad loss, and it's going to be a bad loss all season, no matter how they play the rest of the way.
Yep.
Like, this is the gripe that has Creighton fans. This is what really bothers us about these games, is that every time it feels like we're so close to taking that next step as a program, this game happens. And it's this exact same fucking game every single time.
Yeah.
So that's why you're frustrated tonight. Like, teams lose games. These games do happen sometimes. They don't happen to us all that often, like losing a UNLV. Like a team that's plus 100 in KenPom doesn't happen to us very often.
Yeah.
I talk all the time about like worst losses of the decade. This one makes the top 5.
Yeah.
It absolutely does.
But so losses to this team doesn't happen. This type of loss happens all the time.
Correct.
And that's what's concerning is in the last 2 years, like I think Colorado State's a good team. You lost by 21 on neutral.
Yep.
You were run off the court tonight by a bad UNLV team. You were dominated by Nebraska last year. You lost to BYU by 3 last year. That was not a 3-point game. You were down 14 with 2 minutes left. You were, for all intents and purposes, ran off the court of that game. You got ran off the court at Villanova last year. You got ran off the court by Xavier. Like, this team gets blown out a lot.
So I had
not always by great teams.
Like I wanted to state it as a joke, but it's not a joke. Like the whole like Dan Hurley can't win close games. Greg McDermott can't lose close games.
Yeah, he can also do that.
We don't lose a lot of them. Like last year, notwithstanding, historically he's got a pretty good track record in close games.
Yeah.
But like when we lose, we get fucking slaughtered because he absolutely refuses to change play style.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it, right? If you are a metrics-oriented, analytics-oriented coach, which I still think is better than the alternative, you are going to say, it is a game of averages. If we are playing this way, we will win more often than not. But there are just those couple of things that you have to accept as a person who is involved with sports. You can see an off night.
Yep.
You can see a night where it's just not going to work. And we've had 2 of those already this season, where you can tell. You know, in the first 16 minutes of the game, you can tell it's not working. And when you start the second half and it's still not working, we do not have plan B.
No.
And he's not willing to try.
No, that's as crazy as it is. Like, why do we not throw a zone at them for like 3 or 4 possessions?
Did, and it was a disaster.
Oh, did we?
No, because we don't know how to play the zone.
Oh, well, I left 8 minutes in because I was done watching.
Yeah.
But all right, well, never mind. Good try, Greg. Good try, Greg.
Yeah, they had 5 points on 2 possessions, and then we gave it up.
DePaul.
Yeah.
They had 1.3 points per possession tonight.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not very good.
No.
They had one guy with a sub 100 O rating. He was 0 of 1 from the floor. Their other O ratings were 110, 172, 133, 136, 145, 142. Like, it's not like, one guy got hot. Like, the Nebraska game last year, you could say, okay, Derek Walker went off, which Caleb Boone is Derek Walker this year. He went off.
Same guy. I had that was in my notes for this, the exact same player.
Yeah, he went off tonight, but it's not like you say, okay, one of their guys went off. Like, no, everyone kind of kicked your ass.
Yeah. There's
no one that you say really played good defense. Kalkbrenner kind of got eaten alive inside.
Yeah.
Those are, like, that's the 2 archetypes that give him trouble are the smaller bigs that can good footwork around the rim and like a Bayo, like a low, down low.
Bayo's a unique,
I
think, but yeah, no. So he got Derek Walker again.
Yeah.
And like, again, I don't care about the whole like mono thing. I don't even evaluate that as being part of why that happened, because he's proven that it's this type that gives him problems, not his conditioning.
Yeah.
It is catches the ball 8 feet from the rim, one dribble, shoulder in the gut, and then goes straight up. Because when that shoulder goes in his gut, his arms come down every single time. Yeah. Every single time. That's coaching to me. Yeah. That's a guy has a natural reaction and you haven't beaten it out of him yet.
Yeah.
I'd be hitting him in the stomach with a medicine ball in practice. Do not put your arms down. That guy is not going around. You have an 8-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
He can only make so much of a move that will get him completely away from you. And even if it does, it's going to be a contested, tough angle shot. I will take that every day over the easy jab into you and hook shot that he's practiced 8 million times.
Yeah.
And he again, I will defend Kalkbrenner. Absolutely, because his body of work over 4 years is nothing that's even been approached by a Creighton player ever.
Yeah.
Except Benoit Benjamin, probably. So I'll give, there you go. That's before my time, but I know my Jays history. So no, I'm not going to go I'm reevaluating how good of a player is. No, shut up. If that's what you're thinking, you're not thinking correctly. Mm-hmm. He has a type of player that he cannot fucking guard for the life of him.
5 points big man's pretty good.
Stop.
I don't even know who it is. That one's a point troll.
So, like, there's a couple people in this fan base who are, like, so hungry for when he plays bad. And, he had 22 points and 5 blocks tonight.
Yeah.
Like, let's not lose that.
Do I think he played great? No. But,
No.
like, on the issues list, he's
not even appearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, quick, if I was a coach in this situation, like, I'd be screaming at him. I would have walked in the locker room and I would have said, Mason Miller, go greet your parents. You played well tonight.
Yeah.
You're the only reason that wasn't 25.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was the one who did the post-game interview today, so...
I wonder what,
Yeah.
Thank God we had that.
Well, he mentioned in it, he said, oh yeah, I thought the team had low energy tonight. You're telling me.
Thank you, Mason Miller.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be pissed if I was him.
Jesuit education, bro.
Yeah, I'd be losing my mind if I was him. You're the only one that... You and Bello at least looked like he was trying tonight.
Yeah, again, like, it's... real flipped on its head. Farabella's like one of the only people this year where I'm really...
He's my third favorite player on this team right now.
Yeah.
I put the fours ahead of him, and that's it. And even try, I was going to say, I'll put Baylor ahead of him.
Baylor, again, if you wanted to say Baylor played bad, 116-0 rating, 16-7 and 7.
Yeah.
Again, on your list of concerns, he's probably dead last.
Tonight. He's just not.
Yeah, if Baylor shot, and of those, because he was 5 of 14 from the floor, probably 3 of those misses where there's 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah.
We need a ball to go up.
Yeah, so if you look at that as 5 of 11.
Yeah,
say,
we're not going to... Yeah.
He didn't lose you the game tonight. No.
No, again, him and Miller are the only 2 bright spots offensively.
You lost the game because a guy who a month ago was a National Player of the Year candidate has forgotten how to play the game of basketball.
Yeah.
I will give us the credit that we have been on this since
early
in the season now that he doesn't know how to play a first half. Well, today he just played 2 halves of that, so.
And so to circle back to my Kaluma comp from when I call him Kaluma, it's a lot of Kaluma. Like you're gonna have
it is. It's a lot of the same.
You're gonna have off nights. That's fine. I'd prefer you don't have an off night 60% of the time like you have the last 3 weeks. But then fucking realize it.
Yeah.
Like half those shots. I know when UNLV scored right before half and we came down. I think I told you before we crossed half court, I said, Trey mid-range jumper short.
Yep.
Trey mid-range jumper short.
Yep.
All right, there it is. Like, the one he went, his best play of the game was when he drove 1-on-2 in transition and got swatted so bad it bounced right to Kalkbrenner for a dunk.
Yep.
Like, that's probably his biggest positive play of the final 37 minutes.
He made a 3 in the
final 37 minutes. Like, fucking, you're 2 for 12 and you went 1 of 17 against Colorado State. At some point, like, be a decoy, drive the pass.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have it today.
No. Yeah.
Fucking realize that. It's not... Like, you've done enough damage to your draft stock. Like, you're... It's like cool. Like, you need to fucking suck it up, realize you don't have it, and play team basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, which I did not think was going to be a problem with him coming into the season. I mean, you could ask me, 15 things that would go wrong with this team. I wouldn't think a selfish Trey would be on that list. And, he took, I think he ended with 14 shots? Or what?
Yeah.
Like, it's not crazy. He's not playing hero ball.
That's hero ball.
But like you said, when you're off, you're off. And he's off.
And I tweeted this out, and you mentioned analytical basketball. Like, why is he the one guy that doesn't apply to?
Because he shot 55% on him last year.
He's shooting about 5% on him this year.
Well, that's what I mean.
McDermott needs to tell him to knock it fucking off.
Yeah.
They're not good looks, and he hasn't made them at all this year.
No.
Like, even when he's on, I don't think he's really made those shots. Like, the contested turnaround 15-footers have to fucking stop.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason no one in basketball there's a reason we don't take them.
Yeah.
Like, quit fucking shooting those. If you were 2 of 14 and you went 1 of 10 on threes, at least, I get it.
Yeah.
But,
that's why we don't have a problem with Baylor tonight.
Exactly, yeah. You went 2 of 8 from 3. It's like, okay, fine.
Yeah. He took, again, the shots he didn't have to take were all good shots for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't remember a bad one.
Yeah, and, I mean, Trey probably had 5. I think he probably shot 5 15-footers. I don't think any of them were open. And they're always short, too.
Yeah, always
short. I don't think he's missed one long all year.
Yeah.
Like,
all his threes are short, too.
Yeah.
He's just not there right now. The team, the second time I'm going to complain about this already this season, didn't have legs today.
Yeah.
Who was responsible for that? Because it's a problem. You got a player admitting it in a post-game interview. Right?
Yeah.
So it's clear they know it too. This isn't something we're just making up to like make an excuse for. No, it's the opposite.
To be clear, Ashworth was trying to fix it by doing some good cardio during the game today.
Yeah, he got his run in.
That's yeah. So I said I give him an A, assuming he was just trying to break a sweat.
But here, like again, that's the topic on him versus Trey. At least he's not killing. He's not actively doing something that harms you.
Yeah.
You know, you're playing 4-on-5, but you know that's he's not. He missed what, like 6 shots tonight.
Something like that.
He was like 1 for 7.
He had 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 3. Did make 2 free throws. Thank you, Stephen Ashworth.
Yeah. He can't hold the ball. Like, have you noticed that when he goes around screens to pick up the ball, he just can't. It's like fucking. Oh, I'm blowing this reference here, but the guy who just can't hold the ball.
From what?
It's like a really terrible like spoof sports movie. Yeah, like he literally cannot grab the ball. Whatever. But yeah, he it's too inconsistent from him.
Yeah.
And you can kind of live with that, but when your other guard plays like this consistently, you can't live with that. You know, like we can't just lose both of them every time Trey has an off night, or every time Ashworth has an off night. Yeah, you are looking at in 3 weeks, Trey went from in the lottery of people's mock drafts to I doubt he's appearing on anyone's board right now.
It's probably second round, like late second round.
Mate, would you take him if you're an NBA GM right now? I mean, I don't know the NBA.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
I guess you said, like, still he has raw tools, he has all, I don't know.
Yeah. And, like, it's in there somewhere, but I don't know what you do. Like, is there... I don't know. Again, it's just tough. Just how Dunsler's not the answer. For those of you saying that, knock that the fuck off.
Yeah, stop that. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Can you go huge and go, like, Farabello, like...
No, you
because like Ashworth and Trey were like both on Playboy. I'm like, play Farabello the whole time. But then it's like, I guess.
I mean,
guess
tonight I would have tried it. I don't think it's gonna work, but
probably not. Like it's our 2 guards are zeros. And,
yeah.
I mean, I guess of the zeros, play Ashworth because he was a 0 and not a -50.
Yeah.
But like.
Well, Ashworth too. He's not doing the thing that I thought he would do this year, which is when he's off ball, he has to be off ball.
Yeah.
You know, like you are. Find a corner. When the strong side flips to the weak side, you run around and you hopefully get a top of the key 3. Mm-hmm. That's not what he's doing. He's playing like first option off the screen as like the guy who gets the ball if it gets stuck. Yeah. That's not a good role for him.
No.
So I don't know how well we've thought through our rotations with these guys, or how well we've thought through like, hey, plan A isn't working. What do we have to change to make something work? Our team, like max teams, tend to get stronger throughout the year. So, but you know, again, it's the difference between being the team that we always are, which is a really good program that, you know, you're always worried about in March, right? Like, hey, you never know, they could get hot, they could make a run. And being the top 8 seed that we all thought we could be this year.
Yeah.
Because the top 8 seed doesn't lose this game.
No, they don't, like, I can't imagine a Baylor, like just
no.
Baylor the team, by the way.
Yeah.
Like a Baylor Bears getting blown out like this by an inferior team. They're too well coached.
That was literally on my way over here. That was what I thought. I'm like, does Baylor ever lose this game?
No. And there's no reason you can't beat Baylor this year.
Right.
Like I think you and Baylor are very. Baylor has a better offense and a worse defense. I think that's a very good target for you to be. There's no reason you can't be Marquette. Marquette doesn't lay eggs like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, old Marquette would.
Yeah.
But last year's, like, the Shaka Smart Marquette doesn't lay eggs like this. There's no way they'd come out this flat and get run off the court by such an inferior team. And the other thing I'll push back on this game, too, is everyone just says, like, we didn't shoot well. We shot 28%. That's not good. It's not terrible.
It was not Colorado State.
No, like, against a team that's outside the top 100, if you're the team that you say you are, shooting 28% from 3 and 54% from 2, you can still win that game.
If they play their averages, you probably do win that game. You know, like, and that's not me saying like, oh, they just played out of their ass. That's me saying, no, we let them play out of their ass, you know. Like, yeah, they made probably 4 more threes than they would have expected to make. You still lose.
Yeah.
You know, like, so.
You allowed 1.3 points per possession. Like, that's bad.
Yeah.
If we do that to Alabama,
they're going to have 120.
Well, and I was going to say, I'd be mad if we do that on Saturday to Alabama, who has the second best offense in the country.
Right.
Like, that's terrible.
Yeah. It's soft. It just is. Like, this is the part that you all probably were waiting for someone to say. The team's soft.
Yep.
This team is softer than a baby's ass.
Yeah, they don't fight if plan A doesn't work. We'll get them next time.
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure. I'm not trying to say like the player in his mind is going like, oh man, we just don't have it tonight. I guess we'll just lose.
Yeah.
No, it's just some guys just have it and some guys don't.
And,
I thought Trey is a guy who has it. I don't know that I'm so sure about that anymore. Again, this was something we talked about in an earlier episode. Like, do you remember anything special he did in the tournament last year?
Yeah. Missed a wide open 4-footer against San Diego State.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought Ashworth would be... I still just get the vibe that Ashworth has 0 fuck you to it.
Yeah. Which
he needs. There's even a couple shots tonight early. I'm like, dude, just take the fucking 3.
Yeah.
You're one of the best shooters in the country. Just fucking shoot it.
Yeah.
Like, if Ashworth gets a semi-open corner 3, I'll never say that's a bad possession.
No.
Like, shoot the fucking ball.
Yeah.
And if you see guys fucking dogging, like, get it on Trey's ass tonight when he takes a contested 10-footer into the chest of a guy. Like, fucking yell at him. And also, to circle back to Trey as well, because you made the point, like, I don't think these guys are doing it. Like, I don't think Trey's going out there, like, trying to be a bad person, saying, like, I don't care if we win this game as long as I score 30 points. Like, I don't think he's that type of guy, but I'm sure he's under a lot of pressure. Like, he easily could have went to the draft and he'd be playing professional basketball. You know, like, I'm sure he puts an insane amount of pressure on him, but that comes down to, you need Ashworth to be a leader. You need McDermott as a coach to say, like, dude, chill the fuck out. Like, you can't be taking those shots. It's gonna come to you. You have to let it come to you. And I don't think he does that.
I was just thinking before you started, like, I'm gonna say it's the same problem we had last year. There's no leadership on this team.
No.
And there should be. Right? Because Baylor, I think, is one of those guys that everyone was talking about this year as, hey, you know, you're a graduate now. You're the elder statesman here. You can be a leader. When he's not on, he's not a leader.
No.
And that's not bad, like, because I don't think he's a problem either. But when he's not shooting well from 3, he's a noticeably different person.
Yeah, I think he still played hard tonight. I don't think he had attitude issues or anything.
No.
Again, I don't really have much bad to say about him. Honestly, I gave him a B. That might be too low.
Well, I just mean, like, because if the guy you're expecting to be the leader, Ashworth, isn't being a leader, like, isn't willing to, you know, play in a way or do things that you'd want them to do. I don't know. I'm stretching here.
There's different ways to lead. Like, again, this is purely speculation. Like, I'm sure Ashworth is very level, comes to practice every day, like, does his job, does his role, is supportive. But, like, Ashworth's not a guy who's going to get in Trey's face and say, you don't take that shot.
Right.
And that's not like a knock. Again, there's different ways, but as a coach, it's your job to elevate your team. Some years, if you have the fucking fiery, I don't know, a guy like Draymond Green, but preferably you don't punch people. Like, if you have a Draymond Green on your team, then you are the level-headed guy who stays calm, who brings it every day, who lifts Trey up. Like, if Draymond, who doesn't punch people, gets in your face and you lift him up. But if Ashworth's not going to be that guy, which again is fine, if Ashworth's going to be the level-headed guy, no, you have to be the guy who gets on his ass and say, like, fucking figure, like, you have to hook him. When he shoots the shot that the dude blocks with his lower elbow, you have to hook him and say, like, what the fuck is that?
Well, so this is something I'm going to say that I'm actually mad about today. There was no accountability.
No.
Trey has to come out of that game. Probably 3 or 4 times for some of the things he did today.
Yep.
You come out of the game, you sit on the bench for 3 minutes, then you come back in and you don't do it again.
Yep.
And we don't do it.
Yep.
Call it lack of better options. Okay, maybe, but at some point when you're down 17, maybe you just make a point.
Yeah, then if you do want to put Dotzler for him, fine. When the game's
Yeah.
like, you're not putting Dotzler in to try to win the game. If you want to put Dotzler in for 2 minutes because you need to send a message to Trey, then fine. I think, fine, maybe you make that trade-off.
Yeah.
But, there has to be something there. When he has 4 bad possessions in a row, you can't just shrug your shoulders and say, oh, I hope the 5th one's better.
Yeah.
And, again, I'm sure it's tough for McDermott. I don't think he's that type of guy, but...
No, he's not.
At some point, you have to be.
And with these kind of players these days, too, I think he's terrified to upset players.
Yeah.
Especially given, I think, he's been noticeably tamer since the P word.
Yep.
I think that's on purpose. I think he's a changed man after that in the sense that he knows he's kind of always walking a tightrope.
Yeah.
I think it's also that, any player could transfer at any given moment. Look, he couldn't have been nicer to Nembhard and Kaluma if he tried. They're gone.
Yeah.
So the slightest fucking thing, I'm sure he's worried about pissing somebody off, pissing the wrong person off.
Yeah.
So I get that, and I get that that's part of just the new age of basketball, but some guys are managing, some guys are managing to do it.
Look at Tom Izzo. They had a preseason top 5 team.
Yeah, and he's great at keeping his count.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want to get too much into the drama stuff, buzzwords like leadership, accountability, responsibility. No, there are just plain old fucking basketball reasons you lost tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the same reasons that have kept this program losing games for 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
Longer than that. Literally since the Doug years.
Yeah.
So it's the guys who are saying, because I wasn't a Creighton fan during the Doug years. I came to school here in 2017, right? So, I didn't watch those games live as a fan. But I've gone back. I've watched a lot of those, old games. It is a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
It's just another team that if they aren't shooting well, they're just going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be ugly, and they're not going to look competitive. It's still a very good team, but it's just going to happen. And that doesn't happen to other programs. Again, this game never happens to Baylor. Mm-hmm. It never happens to Kansas.
No.
And these are the teams we're trying to compare ourselves to.
And we were willing to give them one.
Yeah.
We were willing to say, Colorado State's a good team, whatever, it's your first back-to-back, Holiday, Mason's sick, whatever.
I literally said, if you win every game up until Alabama, I'll forget this one.
Yep. And they almost did.
Yeah, real close. Because we're number 8 this week.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't be, but we are. If you look at pure resume alone.
Yeah.
So everyone else had clearly moved on, and then you gave them another reason to shit on, rightfully shit on us.
They're fully improving to me right now.
Yeah.
At this point, I expect a 5 seed and win 2 games.
Oh, see, I think you're almost being generous. I think we could lose some bad Big East games.
I think we will, but the metrics are always going to love us because we'll always kill DePaul and Georgetown, and that'll lift us up.
Okay.
I think we're gonna be like last year. I think we're gonna be slightly better from last year.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what we were last year.
Fair. That's fair.
I think we're last year's team, and except for I don't think we can count on drawing a 15 seed in the round of 16.
Yeah, but so we've said this. We have said 2 things so far in this season of podcasts. The first thing we've said is at the conclusion of almost every episode we've done, we've said we still haven't beaten a good team.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say I'm completely blindsided by that we might not be as good as we think we are. All the metrics would have suggested otherwise, and usually I'm inclined to believe that, but we still haven't beaten a good team.
Nope.
And we've lost to a bad team now, which we hadn't before. The other thing that I think we've said this whole time is stop using the Elite Eight as an excuse for everything.
Yep.
You beat Princeton. You beat Princeton and NC State.
You beat NC State, who's probably the worst at large by resume. Them or Nevada?
Yeah, I was going to say you could make a couple arguments there, but...
They were the worst by.
Bottom 4.
Yeah, they were the worst by.
Yeah.
And it was a tailor-made matchup. You played tailor-made matchup, 15 seed.
Yep.
5 seed.
And lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and play horribly.
Yep. You're only... This is probably the golden era of Creighton back. I don't think it'll ever be this good again. You've beaten one good team, and that was at home in a game they shot, 34%? That you scored 56 points? where if they play okay, you probably lose by double digits.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
You haven't. What's your like, marquee? I'll give them. I still think that Arkansas team is extremely good if Brazil doesn't get hurt. I'll give them that. I'll give them that game.
Fair.
Which, yeah, that team had a fine. I'll be generous.
That was no Nick Smith though.
Yeah, but he kind of flopped.
Yeah, I'm just making.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
that's a top 12 win at worst.
I'll give you two. I'll be generous and give you an Arkansas team that finished 32nd in Ken Pom as your second win.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. You still lost more games in Las Vegas alone. You've lost more games by 20 plus.
Well, if you throw in the COVID year, you get a couple more good wins in there. The road to Seton Hall, road to Villanova that year.
Yeah, so we're going back that far, yeah.
Yeah. Because I would include, like, that year starts the golden age,
yeah.
I guess, right?
Sure.
Where we've been in the top 10 4 of the last 5 years.
Sure.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But not the next step. Can't do the next step.
No, you can't do the next step, and you can't... The Seton Hall... I don't remember the Nova game. I'm pretty sure I slept through at Nova in the COVID.
It was an 11 a.m.
Yeah, I
so
slept
you
through
wouldn't
it.
be the only one.
Yeah, I slept through it. But you haven't had... Like, I think Arkansas is really the only one where I felt like both teams played a high-level game and your high level was better. Like, the UConn game, I walked out of the UConn game fucking pissed. Like, that's the worst. That was one of the worst games I've ever watched. It was terrible.
I mean, I'm just not going to ever be pissed about beating them. But
I was angry. I think we objectively played terrible. They just played slightly worse than we were at home.
Our offense played terrible. We're playing a good team.
Whatever.
I'm willing to,
whatever. Okay,
shit like that happens. But, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. We're not world beaters.
No.
But it's just like you keep looking at it. All the metrics say, all the numbers say, everyone's eye test says we should be there. And then we lose the game that we would need to get to that next level.
Nope.
We said in our preseason preview, we said things could go right, and this team could be looking, coming into today, right where we are right now at this moment after this game. We could be on the verge of doing that special thing, right?
Yep.
Of being that top 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You beat Colorado State and you win this game, we'd be number 3.
Yeah.
If you beat Alabama. You know, that's unprecedented heights, and we refuse to do it. Yep. At every opportunity, we refuse to go to that unprecedented height. George Mason's made an Elite Eight. Like, stop.
St. Peter's made an Elite Eight.
Yeah, stop.
Congrats for St. Peter's.
We beat Baylor. That's good. That's not great.
There's also the worst Baylor team of the last decade.
I'm saying, you beat a good team.
Yeah.
And it took a good game to do it.
Yep, you played well that game.
Yeah.
They didn't play great.
They did not play that well. That's okay though. That happens. Sometimes you beat who gets put in front of you.
Yeah.
But let's stop pretending it was like the reason we hype it up so much is rightfully for the right reason, because we were 2 points away from playing in the national championship.
Sure.
Right, that's the way we're looking at it though. I mean, you can say yeah, it was right there, and so we might as well have been right there.
Sure.
We're looking at it because the year before, it's we played with the national champion, right?
Yeah.
That's why, and that's fine. But stop using it as a cushion for everything that goes wrong since then. No, we have not taken that next step. The Elite Eight was a step we hadn't been to before, but that was not the next step. You beat Princeton.
Yeah, you were afforded.
Let's talk about it. The Sweet 16, we beat Ohio and UC Santa Barbara, and then got murdered by.
Oh yeah, I don't consider that year a success. You did nothing that year.
We in our 2 big tournament runs, in our last 3 tournament years, we have beaten a 3 seed Baylor that was not that great.
No.
Lost to a 5 seed San Diego State.
Yep.
Beat a 9 seed or an 8 seed San Diego State.
Yep.
Beat an 11 seed NC State, a 12 seed Ohio, a 13 UC Santa Barbara.
You flipped those two.
Yeah. And a 15 seeded Princeton. That is not that good.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I do think we were a good team both those years, a top 20 team. There's so much luck that goes into March that you have to stop using it as a protective net for acknowledging that A, there are real problems with this team. B, this team seems to refuse to take the next step to be the great program that we think they are and that everyone seems to tell us that we are. It's fraud watch every year with this team.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's not fraud watch of like, oh, this is a bad team. It's not a bad team. It's just not tier 1, tier 2 team.
Yeah. I mean, you lost as double-digit fares to Nebraska, to BYU today. You closed 8.5 against Colorado State.
Yeah, it wasn't double digits.
I don't think they lost any others, but you've lost.
Arizona State last year.
No, that was because Kalkbrenner was announced out. That game was only like 3.
Okay.
That was
regardless, bad loss.
Bad loss, and like but you don't have the big win on the other side. Again, you beat UConn at home. Okay, they weren't really playing great then, and again, they played terrible. You don't have. You went into Marquette and beat them. You went into UConn and beat them. You won the Big East tournament. You don't have that. This team hasn't had the upside, and I've been debating with people today. I don't see how this team possesses like the athletes to beat a UConn, to beat a Marquette. Like, who the fuck is Stephen Ashworth going to guard on Marquette?
Stevie Mitchell. That's actually not his worst matchup.
Maybe, okay, who the fuck is going to guard on UConn?
That's,
like
Spencer.
Yeah.
Also, maybe not his worst matchup.
Sure.
But the point is, it's creating problems elsewhere because he's going to get rotated.
And how are we going to score on those guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know how we're going to score against teams with elite athletes. Like, I'm worried
about Providence right now.
I was going to say, part of the reason I'm pissed is because I was going to bet a shit ton on Bama and I just lost 3 points of value tonight.
Yeah, probably.
But, I don't know how we're going to scheme. We couldn't scheme guys open tonight. We weren't getting great shots. Like, I don't know.
Sometimes we run sets and they look nice, and then nights like tonight we just kind of don't bother either.
Yeah, I don't know. And the people who say like you can't freak out, you absolutely can freak out. This is a trend at this point.
Yeah.
You can't say like Wayne State boy, shut the fuck up. I'll freak out if I want to.
Yeah.
You know who you are, by the way. I'll fucking freak out if I want to. It's a trend. Like,
yeah.
They're gonna do another one of these. Like we'll get blown
we'll
out.
Have 2 losses in this play that will be exactly like this.
What
Maybe
reminder?
At Butler and home against St. John's.
I was gonna say, what reminder did I set earlier? Because let me bet our fucking house that we were gonna get killed at Nova.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I will.
Is it at Wells Fargo or?
It doesn't matter.
I think it matters a little bit.
No.
What?
Nova's more talented than we are.
Yeah, talent. Like, I don't know.
We can't beat teams that like announce a talent.
I mean, I'm agreeing with you for the most part. I'm just where would it be worse? But yeah, no, like pencil us in for 2 or 3 of these in Big East play. Like the dream of going like 17-3 and
that's not
year.
happening.
Yeah, give that up right now.
That's not happening.
Give that up right now.
You'll gladly take 14-6.
I think we're more likely to go 11-9 than win the Big East. That's going out on a limb a little bit, but man,
because I don't see how we beat the top teams.
Yeah, right now I'm penciling in 4 losses to UConn and Marquette.
I am too.
Like add another one to Nova.
At least once.
We'll get them. Well, it's next week, isn't it? That's tough.
It should be we'll get up for it.
We're not winning at Butler now tonight. Confirm that to me.
Okay, Nova. So, okay, Villanova, Marquette, UConn, Alabama, over under. That sucks because the line is so clearly 2. Like, it's so clearly. I think you go 2-5 in those games, so you can't really say an over under.
2-5. Who was the other one? UConn, Marquette,
Bama,
Villanova, Bama, and who?
Just those 4.
You said 5.
2 and 5.
Oh, 2 and 5. Okay, I guess so. 7 games.
Yes.
Yeah, I think 2.
Yeah.
2 probably. If I had to guess, it's the next 2 also, which is a tough spot to be in. Where I think your 2 most winnable games are the ones you have to get back to back coming off of a big loss.
Yeah, there's clearly. It just sucks. I don't know how you fix it. You don't have
the athletes to fix it like that.
You don't have a slasher, and I thought we had put something together over the last few games of, all right, we can ball pressure through back cuts, which I don't know we don't really back cut at all, which is really weird to me. Like
even on days like today where they were all over us.
Yeah, you don't run like panic backdoor screens. Like I don't really know why.
We do the slow crossing on the baseline.
Yeah,
that's our back cut.
Like I don't know how it gets better unless you start doing that. which I thought we would again. I gave us Colorado State, and I said we've seen the recipe to beat us. Like I trust we know how to counter that. And for a couple games we did. Like I thought, like how fucking bad is Nebraska?
Yeah.
Like
how bad is Michigan State?
Yeah.
just keeps. You just keep that train going.
Yeah, like I thought they'd ball pressure us. They couldn't. They didn't really do that. Like, but good teams are going to.
Yep. Oh, we're gonna. I mean, I'm looking at this Big East slate. I'm like, all these teams at least can do what UNLV did today. So I mean, how often is this gonna happen?
I mean, the only team that's clearly worse than UNLV is DePaul, which I think we'll sweep DePaul, God willing. But like, I don't know where Georgetown ranks right now, which it's not going to be much worse than today.
No,
130 going in.
Georgetown was low.
Like they're 195. Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's 300th in defense. Jesus. I mean, like I think those are the only 4 games you can roll the ball out and win. Like I still think we'll probably beat Georgetown.
I'd almost give us the Seton Halls too, because I do not think they can play the way UNLV did today.
They'll ball pressure us. They'll play physical.
I don't actually think they will. Like for
Shaheen's Jersey boys.
Yeah, they don't actually play that way though. Like Seton Hall teams over the past, I was more scared of the Willard Seton Hall team's defense than of these guys, and they didn't play defense either.
What if
I think we averaged like 88 against Seton Hall last year.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not worried about Seton Hall, so that'll come back to bite me in the ass. But if you ask me 3 teams that I think we take 6 games from, it's DePaul, Georgetown, and Seton Hall.
Yeah, probably. Plus it's conference. Yeah.
One of St. John's or Xavier is going to beat us at CHI.
Yeah, and again, I know St. John's hasn't looked great this year, and I've probably oversold them. But like, you don't think Patino's like coming up with a way to throw us out of our offense right now? Like,
yeah, I do, but at the same time, like they've clearly got a talent gap too that they're struggling to overcome, or guys who just cannot play his defense the way he wants to play it.
No,
and I think he is a little too stubborn to give that up. He'd rather ride it out, and maybe they don't put it together than actually change it.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, St. John's, we'll see. But no, the ceiling has been lowered. The floor has been lowered by this game.
Yep.
I think Colorado State, the only thing it did was lower the ceiling.
Yeah. And I just don't know how you go on a deep tournament run when, again, in the long term it's the right strategy, but you have no plan B, and it's a strategy that introduces variance.
You hope you get lucky matchups. I mean, that's what it always is in March, to be fair. Like, if this year we get, like I'm trying to think of who's good teams for us to play. Like, if you run into, I don't know, like we beat UCLA, they give up a ton of threes. Although that's what UNLV does. So
Yeah.
If we got them, if we got like, honestly, hard to think of it on the spot.
You know a nightmare? Like a nightmare 4-5 for us? Wisconsin. If we play Wisconsin, we lose by 15. And I don't know if we hit 60 points.
Oh, I was going to say they'll win like 62-50 probably. So.
Like, if the tournament bracket came out right now and you said like 4-seed Creighton, 5-seed Wisconsin, I'd just say like, it's over.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bad matches.
Yes,
that was what we were talking about on this morning's episode.
Yeah.
Do you take us against any of the top 12 right now? No. Like,
the
answer was no before.
Yeah, we said no this morning, so credit to us, I guess, for that.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely no now.
Yeah.
Like,
it's no, like, how much further do the no's?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, is pull up KenPom and say the highest rated team I think we could beat.
There are some teams I'm not so sure about still kicking around in the 20s, if I saw correctly this morning.
I'm not counting BYU because I still don't know if they're real or not.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the pick.
I guess, number 7, BYU. After that,
like, Oklahoma, maybe.
Oklahoma's been really good.
Where's Clemson at? I still think I would like us against Clemson.
25.
Oh, shit, okay.
There you go, top 25 Creighton Blue Jays, dream season. I'll know who I would take. Is I got number 28, Colorado State. Or number 29, Villanova.
I think we still, if we played Villanova 12 times, we win 7.
Okay, sure.
Well, I mean, like, that's what I mean. So I would, I don't know. Nothing above that, though? Like, is Mississippi State kicking around in, like, the 20 to 25
No,
range?
they're 36.
Ugh.
Iowa State, I don't think we get a shot off.
Yeah, I don't know if we would. Well, apparently, we beat them in a secret scrimmage.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's our best result of the year.
I don't know, Duke, if Flip breaks his ankle getting off the bus.
No, I actually think we would probably beat Duke. I just
think they
don't
have better
think
athletes than we do.
I agree. I just don't think they're that good.
I don't think they are either.
Yeah.
But, like, that's... If it was a competition... I was going to say beat this 100th ranked team by the most points. Our baseline is negative 14 or lose by 13, 14, whatever. I don't think we're actually that good at that game. If it was beat number 300 by the most points, that was 15, even worse. If it was which of these top 25 teams could beat number 300 Central Michigan by the most points, I like our chances. If it is play another top 15 team,
Yeah.
like, it's not good. Like, you are absolutely rational if you are negative tonight.
Yeah.
If you're
Don't let anyone tell you not to be mad about this game.
and again, if we were 11-0 coming in, or even if we lost to Colorado State by like 2,
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, fine, letdown spot, like, whatever. But it's a trend now.
Well, I honestly, I'd be more mad if we were 11 because
Yeah,
that I
fair,
think
sure,
just
fine.
emphasizes that we can't take the next
But
step.
I think you'd be mad in the moment, but I think your view of the team overall would be higher.
Agree.
Like,
Agree with that.
again, at this point, it's a trend.
Yeah.
You will lay 4 eggs every year.
Yep.
And
And they're gonna come at the most like predictable, but
Yeah.
at the same time inopportune time
Yeah.
possible.
And when you look at... So, yeah, you take last year's team to this year's team. That was a trend with last year's team. I think it's very safe to say it's a trend with this year's team. And I think the reason for pessimism from myself and a lot of others that I think, again, is justified, the other trend was last year's team didn't do shit against good teams.
Yep.
And you could take them... If you ball pressured them, if you got physical with them, you could take them out of their game, and there is no plan B. And there's nothing you've seen so far this year to make you think that is also not a trend.
If anything, it looks worse this year because we do not have an athlete that could just get lucky and control a game by accident.
Yeah.
Like Nemhard, if he got pressured, he would occasionally like jack up a Cup Baylor game. He took 2 30-footers and made them.
Yeah.
Right? Like Kaluma just drove and occasionally he'd just stumble into and ones, right? That is not happening this year.
And they both at their best, brought something different. Like, they brought rim pressure, they brought athleticism for Kaluma, quickness for Nemhard. They had that, where Ashworth and Miller, who I think Miller's been great. Again, I think Miller and Trout have been great. But, like, they don't bring anything different to the table.
No. Well, Miller brought something different tonight.
Yeah, he brought a mid
threes,
shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's bad. It's worrying. It's all that.
Yep. And if we are closing with one message from this, all of your takes are rational tonight. Like
Yep.
Anything up to the Fire McDermott take is rational tonight. Stop. Like
5 point, 2 seed Creighton 73, 15 seed High Point 78, and they just jersey exchange in the handshake line. McDermott and Huss exchange polos.
quarter zip.
Get ready to speak High Point, buddy.
Oh, I had like an outro plan too, and I just completely lost it because of that. So thank you.
You're welcome. And last thing, Trey bad. Sit
Trey
down.
was bad.
Take a seat, buddy.
He was bad.
Why don't we have a talk?
And again, I'll say, I believe in him to right the ship. He's not gonna shoot 27% from 3 all year. I think.
But
I think it's getting. I'm gonna keep adding. I think.
We said 20. We said he wasn't going to shoot 29% all year. And to his credit, he's not anymore.
No, he's not. No, but all right. So like, okay, I kind of remembered. So I made the point in our Central Michigan recap, like, stop taking this team for granted. It's a top 10 team. Show up to watch them play. I don't think the majority of Creighton fans accept how bad it could get if he leaves and we make the wrong decision.
Kenny Payne might be available.
But like, that's what I mean. That's how quickly even a program that strong can capitulate into nothing.
Yeah.
And we are going to be way more prone to that than a Louisville is.
Yeah.
Because people will forget about us instantly. If we finish this run having accomplished nothing.
Which you have, to be abundantly clear, you have done nothing.
We've got the regular season title doesn't mean nothing, but of the
split three ways.
Things of the things you would want coming out of this, we have gotten none of our top 5.
No.
I think is fair to say.
No, and I guess a lot of times when I talk about Golden Era, like, I sort of define it as two different, like, I guess Golden Era, I define it as like this team, like, to me there's two separate
like
eras, which probably isn't true. Yeah, the Culprit era. Yeah, the baby Jays to the
growing up.
Yes.
And,
yeah. Like, that's this era to me, I guess, which is probably short for an era. This team has done nothing.
No. Yeah, this era has no accomplished. Like, Sweet 16, Elite 8. Great.
Hang the banner.
Yeah. Great. Like,
don't Google it.
Those things look great when they're accompanied by other ones.
Yeah.
Because then you don't care about who you're matching up with. If it's something you're doing all the time, then it doesn't matter. Then sometimes you'll get good matchups, sometimes you'll get bad matchups. That just happens if you're doing this every year.
Mm-hmm.
We're not yet. Like, almost. But again, that's why it's so frustrating when this team loses, because you're like, one more year of winning, of making a Sweet 16, of making an Elite 8, making a Final Four this year, and you say, all right, there's some legitimacy, there's some longevity here, and they're just unwilling to do it.
Yep.
So hold your fire Mac takes. Do not misunderstand how bad it could get if we did move on from him and it went wrong.
Yeah.
This program could go to nothing fast if we don't win something while he's still here.
Yeah. And we've talked about tournament successes and everything. It's matchup dependent. You can get a bad matchup. I think now, I don't see how this team wins a Big East regular season title.
It doesn't.
I don't see how they win a Big East title.
By luck.
I guess you can get hot and get lucky matchups. Yeah, which again, I won't like if we Xavier Seton Hall Villanova our way to a Big East title. I don't care about that either.
Care. No, because again, it just happens.
So, to me, you're Final Four or bust.
Yeah.
At this point, and I don't see how you make a Final Four.
I mean, honestly, does it get bad enough at the point where you say a Sweet 16 is a successful season? Like, where the expectations get lowered so much so early?
I guess I'm looking at it from preseason. Like, I'll lower my expectations now and say, like, whatever, if you can make a Sweet 16. Like, my expectations now
crisis averted.
Are Sweet 16. Yeah, you live with it. You fight with 1 seed Kansas for 30 minutes and they pull away and win by 9.
Right, like, and everything we're saying here is contingent on if you somehow win all 3 games in the next week and a half, then everything's back on. It's not going to happen.
The masculine urge to say we're back 20 minutes after saying we're over.
But, like, if you win, like, let's say you beat Bama and Marquette by some miracle, right? You go on the road and win that game. Then everything's back on.
Yep.
So it's not over. Like, we're not total doom and glooming this team here, but if what now we expect to happen in the next 2 weeks happens, you are looking at averting crisis rather than achieving glory.
Yeah, and I'll be shocked if we go 3-0.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, even before this, like, I would have been shocked.
But even would have been shocked. But there was no individual game that I would have said was unwinnable.
Correct. You look at Marquette and you'd say 36%.
I think Marquette's pretty unwinnable.
I'm looking at it now and saying 12%.
That's the exact number I was going to say.
Yeah. If you told me Bama, I'd say true 50-50.
Now?
Yeah. I would have said 62 for us before.
See, I was already kind of 50-50 before.
I mean, admittedly, I looked at Bama's metrics today, and I didn't love them as much as I did 2 weeks ago. So I don't know. I'd say right now, Alabama's still 50-50. I'd say Nova's
40-60.
You think only 40
for Bama?
Oh,
Bama 40-60. Nova.
I'd say 55.
I'll go higher on that. I'll say 65.
And Marquette literally like 10 to 15.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah, I don't see you winning that game, and
No.
I'd be a little surprised if it's close.
Yeah. Well, so we'll end on that note. I think
the lamp's burning down.
the lamp is the candle is coming out. The big takes from tonight. It is absolutely correct to reevaluate this team. It is not bad to be overreacting right now.
We have a Trey Arthur Kaluma Alexander issue.
Yes. We have that. Stop just short of burn the program to the ground. Everything else is pretty reasonable. Let's see how the next 2 weeks play out. I said it after the Colorado State game. If you win everything up till Alabama, I'll forgive it. We didn't do that. So I'll set the new bar now. You win 4 of your next 5 games, and I'll forgive it.
Yeah. Last question. If High Point wins 30 games and beats you in the tournament and Hussing McDermott did a jersey swap, would you be like, all right, that's kind of funny.
You just
now
go
we
like,
can fire. All right.
Fine.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
What it is. So there you go. Yeah, keep your eyes on High Point, Western Kentucky, and where else?
Drake.
A&M. Oh, no, he's not there anymore.
Drake.
Yeah, Drake.
Yeah, Lutz went from Corpus Christi to Western Kentucky.
Yeah, so there you go. Great spot to end on. No, I think we covered a lot. If you guys have anything for us, we'll answer everybody who tweets us, even if we don't like you, which I found tonight. So yeah, thanks everybody.
If any players listen to this, good game, Mason.
They're all really concerned with what we think. Apparently,
yeah.
Baylor has tweeted about me 3 times now.
Okay,
so that's.
Congrats on getting your athletic article written about you.
Oh, that was so bad.
Maybe we can get his girlfriend on the team so we have a fucking winner.
Yeah. Well, some guys just don't. I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, no, that's enough. That's enough for tonight.